بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله أما بعد. I greet the students, listening audience, again, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to our Thursday evening Quranic presentation. And we're going to have a little twist in what we'll be doing this week. We're going to be going, and normally I would show the comparison between, or the contrast between Imam W.D. Muhammad and Ibn Arabi in their thinking. However, I'm going to go over Ibn Arabi today, and we're going to look at Ragib, introducing the verse, the phrase in the verse. And then I'm going to give assignments to the advanced students after we complete the writing of this book that we're working on, and that should be coming up soon. And one of the other classes, if they want to take on the task of researching Imam W.D. Muhammad and his ideas, contrasting them to Ibn Arabi. So I'm going over Ibn Arabi for you. I'll put it up for you. Then you can go back, revisit it, and then research the Imam as we have been doing in the class in terms of making contrasting ideas with Ibn Arabi. You also make the reflection to the portion that you're working on. You write the reflection on it using your sources. You can use Ibn Arabi to write the reflection. You have Abu Faris, you have King Fahd, Ragib, Ibn Kathir. These are all the sources that you've been using to write. You can use any of your sources, but you have to use sources, which I will explain all in the class, to write your reflection and the comment by Imam W.D. Muhammad that contrasts with the idea of Ibn Arabi. So we'll do this in the class. We see how it goes. If it goes well, then we'll take a chapter and perhaps we could do a publication on a chapter contrasting Imam W.D. Muhammad and Ibn Arabi as a group, where we will write the reflections and we will translate Ibn Arabi, and we will research the Imam making the contrast and put it in a publication. Okay, so we're just not just sitting back and listening on Thursday. Now we're going to benefit from the presentation and use it in the class. That way you won't have to struggle through Ibn Arabi, since I will translate it for you. And there'll be ideas, there are certain points I will point out as I go. So you will know you don't have to make every contrasting point. Okay. So let's begin. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Looking at chapter 1675. We started it last week, and we're going to do part 2 of it this week. So last week we went over Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Daraba Allahu mathalan abdan mamlukan la yaqdiru ala shay'in. We went over that last week, and we talked about abdan mamluk la yaqdiru. We went over it last week. This week we're going to continue he says, Waman. And Waman razaqnahu. So this is one whom razaqnahu. We're going to look at this word, razaqnahu. Who we razaq. Who we razaq him. Minna, from us. Rizqan. That's a mutlaq. Razaqna rizqan. Which makes it strong. And then we say hasanan. We'll look this word up also. Then you can go back in your reflection if you want, borrowing from what is given. Use it in reflection along with other sources. فَهُوَ يُنْفِقُ مِنْهُ سِرًّا وَجَهْرًا. So this is hasanan, hasanan. فَهُوَ, does he, yunfiku, he spends. He spends, and this word is not just charity. This word is more, I would say, look it up. This is not a key word. We're looking at rizqan hasanan. But yunfiku also has the connotation of investment. Investment. Spending with the sense of investment. And if you look at the various kinds of spending, all of it is a form of investment in that there's a return that you get on the spending. Sometimes we think of charity, we give out. Something that we give out, nothing comes back from it. There's no return. In terms of investment and savings, we expect some type of return, dividends, comes back from it. If you look at all forms of spending, there should be dividends in all forms of spending. Minhu, Saran, and this type of spending, investing is done secretly, privately, wajahran, and publicly. We have privately is done, we could say, and is done in public. Sirran wajahran. Hal yastabuna, are they equal? The slave who has no power, he can't measure anything. Is he the same as the one whom we have provided? Rizq, with rizq. Hasanan rizq. And with this hasanan rizq, he invests privately and publicly from it and gets returns. Hal yastawuna, are they the same? Okay. So, looking at the term rizq from Raghib, he says, arizku. So the meaning of it is coming from the internal noun arizq. It's not from the verb razaka or what have you. This idea of rizq that's used in the verse even. You hear people will say rizq, or this comes from rizq, or this comes from razak, razakna, or razaka. That's the way the dictionary, because the dictionary is laid out that way for looking upwards. But the origin of meaning doesn't necessarily come from the verb. The origin of meaning here comes from the noun. So the verb razaka comes from rizq. The meaning that you get for razaka, it comes from the meaning of it comes from rizq, not the other way around. One of the classes will become dictionary, and perhaps if some of you have questions on it, I can show you in the dictionary. Some of us we bypass a lot because we don't know how to read the dictionary. Hand's Word is a very good Arabic English dictionary, but it's in there. It's in there also, but it's not explained, which I could show you in the Hand's Word, and then you'll be able to see what I'm saying. So Arizku, yuqalu, it is said, lil ata'i al-jari. It is for current or present gift. A current or present gift, taratan, sometimes. At times, sometimes. Ata'i al-jari. Dunyawiyan kana am ukhrawiyan. Materially speaking, dunyawiyan, you see the word dunya in it, materially speaking, kana am, or whether it's material or ukhrawiyan, we would say spiritual, ukhrawiyan, not hereafter, not in this world and the next world. Yes, you can say that. But here we're talking about materially and spiritually. I'm going to use the term spiritually. وَلِلنَّصِيبِ تَارَةً, and sometimes it's for a portion. The risk could be a portion, a ration, a portion of something. وَلَمَّا يَصِلُ إِلَى الْجَوْفِ, and when it's connected to al-jawfi, the stomach. Yes. وَيَتَغَذَّى بِهِ تَارَةً, then it is nourished. That which is nourished by it. The stomach receives nourishment by it, like food is a risk. That feeds the stomach is called a risk sometimes. This is the idea of risk. It could be a gift, material, something that's given currently, materially, or spiritually, a portion of something, or in many cases you may see it used as food or sustenance. Yuqalu ata as-sultanu. The sultan is the governor, let's say. The governor, the one who's in authority, he gives a rizqa, he gives a rizqa al-jundi. He gives the risk of the army. وَذْرُزِقْتُ ilma, meaning I was given risk as knowledge. So we could see in terms of the army, it may be speaking in terms of dunyawiyan, or in terms of knowledge, ukhrawiyan. Knowledge would be a gift. If we put it up, look at it in its wholeness, it could be a current gift that's given in portions in terms of knowledge. That's ukhrawiyan. And from that, we say yunfiku. So, this is a ragib, what we're going to see in Ibn Arabi, this idea of dunyawiyan wa ukhrawiyan. We'll see this concept. Then you can go, take a look at ragib, then go to see where the Imam is speaking of risk in terms of material and spiritual, where he's comparing the two worlds. It could be in terms of knowledge and in terms of any material good. Yes. That's one hint or idea you can take a look at. We'll see when we get to Ibn Arabi. Now, the other word, the next word is hasanan. Hasanan. We have an idea about the word. I'm talking to the Mali students directly. And so some things I don't have to translate for them. This is a recording that I'm putting up on Facebook. Some of you may be listening, and if it's cumbersome for you, maybe you'll benefit from it, or maybe not, but I'm speaking directly to Mali students now. So Hasanan, so everything doesn't have to be translated for them. So we have an idea of Hasanan. They understand what I mean by that. Hasanan. So you take the idea of Hasanan, you take the idea of risk, from a translation, what have you, then al-husnu. So al-husnu is the internal noun that the meaning is derived from. The meaning is derived from al-husnu. It's coming from the noun. He said, al-husnu ibadatun, it's an expression. Al-husnu is an expression, an idea, or concept, what have you, an kulli, about kulli mubhijan maragubin. It is about we would say every delightful, every maragub, mubhij, delightful, delight, and maragub meaning desire. It's about every desired delight. Something that you love, that's beautiful comes from it. This idea of beauty, love, it comes from margub. Something that's desired and is delightful. That's delightful in it. وَذَلِكَ ثَلَاثَةُ أَضْرَبٍ. And there are three ideas, three concepts from it. One is مستحسن من جهة العقل. جهة العقل, meaning from the aspect of the intellect. This husnu, al-husnu, could be expressed from the aspect of the intellect, the intelligence. There we find excellence and beauty. We find a desirable delight. And then the second is jihati al-hawa, from the aspect of passion and desire. And the third, jihati al-hassi, from the aspect of sensory perception, of the senses. Yes. So some of this I don't have to go in detail on. We'll have time to ask questions in the class and on Tuesday evening if we want to go further in explanation. So I'm not going to explain everything in detail. And for the advanced students, I don't think I will need to. I think they will get it. I'm pretty sure they will get it. So he continues to say, and we're still looking at Raga, well, hasanatu yu'abbiru anha an kulli ma yusirru min ni'matin tanalu al-insanu. Up to this point, so al-hasanatu, that's the word, al-hasanatu yu'abbiru, it is considered or expressed anha, about everything, all of what yusirru, cause happiness. Yusirru, that cause happiness and pleasures. Min ni'matin, from a gift, from a favor, from a blessing, so forth and so on. This is al-hasanatu. It comes with it. Tanalu al-insanu, that the man, the human being, acquires fi nafsihi, within himself, his soul within himself, well badanihi, his body, well ahwalihi, within himself, his body, and his circumstance, his conditions, circumstances. He may receive hasanatu from the aspect here. Well, as sayyatu, which is something that's evil, to daduhu, it opposes it. It's opposite. So sayyi'ah is opposite of hasana. It's the opposite. In terms, in this sense, there's a lot that could be said about hasana, but I'm trying not to be too explanatory with everything. Now, let's look at Ibn Arabi. This is where you're going to be making the comparison. So we open up, giving us ideas about the words rizq and the word hasan that we're looking at. We could have looked at more, but these two, if you want to look at more, you can look at more from the second part of the verse, of what we're presenting. Now, Ibn Arabi, when man razaqnahu minna rizqan hasanan. This should be rizqan hasanan. Any typos is from me. Rizqan hasanan. So he's saying, وَمَنْ أَحَبَّنَا. Now, remember, here is the parentheses from the verse. This is from the verse that's in this bracket. What we're talking about, what he's talking about, goes back to what's in the bracket. So the first part, he's saying, وَمَنْ أَحَبَّنَا, and whoever loves us. This man, we're comparing the slave with this man. And this man is whoever loves us. And this us is the same as the us in razaqna, we. Whoever loves us, wa aqbala bil qalbihi alayna. And he devotes oneself. Wa aqbala. He devotes oneself with his heart. He accepts what's given from us, and he devoted to us with his heart. We would say with all of his heart, with his heart. That's how we would say it. We go back, and that's the man we're talking about. Razaqnahu, the one who razaqna. He loves us, this love. And we can look at love also in the idea of hasanan. Hasanan. Love, beauty. This is all part of hasanan. وَتَجَرَّدَ, and we could say, and he renounced. Amma, what sawana, what he associated, made equal to us. He renounces that. Anything that's made equal, that he has made equal, he renounces it. Now, we've had in our presentation that before you delve into even the Quran or these philosophical ideas that we have here, you have to have what we call tanzih. Tanzih is the removal of any and all anthropomorphic or even any created thing equal to Allah. So let me say now. So the last presentation, we talked about the shadow, the slave being a shadow. And some may become confused in this type of literature. So literature that you have Allah and then the creation. You have Allah and you have the creation. That the creation is the shadow of Allah. But the creation is not the shadow of Allah, because in order for a thing to have a shadow, then the shadow becomes sawad to that thing. You're in that moment in time, you're making a shadow equal to the thing that produced the shadow. And you're hindering upon the idea of shirk if you say that the creation is the shadow of Allah. No. Allah creates the creation. He puts it there in order that it produces shadows. But Allah himself does not have a shadow, because nothing is equal to Allah. We're talking perhaps highly philosophically in this sense. So the person who does that, he loves us. And the love that he has for us and devotes himself to us, Allah is saying, with his heart. And he frees himself. He renounces. If he's done it in the past, he renounces. Comes to a level of thinking that he renounces anything that he made equal to Allah. Yes. So in the Quran, before you pick the Quran up, you have to have this idea. Because when you read the Quran and it says he, many of us want to associate he being male. And then we're going to associate the he with the male figure. And some we want to change the pronoun to say she. When you do that, when you're doing that, even though language may get in the way, you're sawad. You're making the male figure equal to Allah. Well, Allah in the philosophical sense is not a he. When we say he, you think of a man. You say she, you think of a woman. Allah is not he or she. You have to understand that when you're reading the Quran. Now you may not have the training and the background to read the Quran as I'm saying. But as you grow and develop and you come into this knowledge, then tajarrada, you remove yourself from it. You free yourself from these ideas. Says Allah sees, but Allah does not have eyes. You don't think or attribute Allah having eyes like the animal have eyes. Allah hear, but you don't attribute ears to Allah like the animal have ears. Yes. It's very important to understand that when you're picking up scripture or even when you're studying this type of literature. Because you can make the mistake that a person like Ibn Arabi is committing shirk. Yes. And you can find, especially in the United States, this concept. The concept that we have been given of God has come along with it, has accompanied it, some form of creation that has been sawad, that has been equalized with Allah. This concept that we have of Allah is a new concept, we could say. It's not that old in the common man in America. The common man in America when it comes to religion. Especially the African American, whether he's Christian or Muslim. And many of us are influenced by the thinking in our thought, not knowing that we're influenced by it. Yes. And that's a very strong influence. So why not? وَإِنْ خَطَأَ إِلَيْنَا. And he occupies exclusively. He occupies himself exclusively towards us. Yes. وَأَعْطَيْنَاهُ الْأَيِّدَ وَالْقُوَّةَ. Thus we give him strength and power, quwwah, strength, force. These two words, al-ayyada wal-quwwata. We give that to him. And the person who evolves to this level of being that we're speaking of, we're still man. We're man. That's who we're talking about. We still go back to man in the verse. We're not talking about Abd. He's not the Abd. He's not the shadow of the shadow. This is man. When he comes to this, when he evolves to this station in life, then he's given the strength, strong. وَرَزَقْنَاهُ. Now we come to وَرَزَقْنَاهُ. وَرَزَقْنَاهُ مُلْكَ الْمُلْكَ وَالْحِكْمَةِ. We give him the authority, the governing authority, wal-hikmah, and the wisdom or logic that he's given. We're going to make this comment again. I'll elaborate later. This idea. وَأَسْبَقْنَا عَلَيْهِ النِّعْمَةَ الظَّاهِرَةَ. And then we bestow widely, أَسْبَقْنَا, widely we could say, complete, widely. We bestow upon him النِّعْمَةَ الظَّاهِرَةَ. A visible, apparent favor that you will see. So he's given this authority, and he's given this logic, and you can see, you can see that he has been, we say, ni'mata, he has been favored, he has been blessed. There are many in the world we see now that have been favored and blessed. It's evident that they have been favored and blessed. This Zahira. Malabatina. And favors and blessed that you don't see. You don't see it. Some of us we're given let's see. I'll come back to it. And now mutawajjihun, because he is face orientating. I'll use that word. mutawajjih. He has orientating himself ila maliki al-mulki, to the owner, the king of all authority. Yes. So the one who devotes himself, he devotes himself to Allah. Then he is given the risk. He's given the risk of authority and wisdom, authority and the logic, and has been bestowed public or apparent visible favors as well as hidden favors because of his orientation to the Malik al-Mulk. He's given the Mulk, but then there's the Malik al-Mulk, the authority of all authorities. He recognizes and turns to him. وَتَأَثَّرَ مِنْهُ الْأَقْوَانُ. Then all events, we could say, all events, well, ajram, and all bodies, all events and bodies, تأثروا, are influenced by him. وأطاعه الملك والملكوت, and the mulk and the malakut. So the government, the authority and the kingdom obeys him. كما أوحى الله, as Allah has inspired. Allah the Most High, He inspired ila Dawood alayhi salam, upon the Prophet Dawood, upon him the peace. He says, Ya dunya, this has been inspired to Dawood. Ya dunya, O world, this world, this material world. Ukhdumi, serve. Ukhdumi, serve man khadamani. Serve the one who serves me. Serve the one that you find serving me. Obey. With the mulk and the malakut. He's saying, obey. Obey the one, serve, and be obedient to the one who's obedient to me. What abi, and enslave, make it hard for the one khadamaka, who serves you. The one who serves the material world. Allah is saying to the dunya, enslave him. You enslave him. You make it hard for him. Make it difficult for him. But the one you see serving me, you submit and serve him. This is the one whom we have favored. فهو ينفق منه سرا وجهرا. This is the second part. ينفق من النعم. He spends. ينفق, he spends, he invests. من النعم, from the investment. We give to him rizqan, and from that rizqan he spends. And now this kind that's given to him, it comes as a ni'mah. It comes as a favor. El-Batinati, hidden, a hidden favor, Kal-Ilmi, like knowledge. So knowledge is Batina. It's something that's hidden. It's not apparent. You don't see it. Well, hikmah and wisdom, Sirran, secretly. He spends secretly. He has knowledge that he may spend on himself. He may invest in himself. He may invest in his family, in himself. It may not be a public investment. He may not give to others and teach and what have you. It may be done more privately than is done publicly. Even being students, seeking knowledge and given this knowledge, he spends. He doesn't hoard it. He spends. He invests it. In his investment, as we say, there's a return on the investment. Yes. Just a thought came to me. Let's see. I'll see if I can get to it. Women al-Zahirati Jahran. And from al-Zahira. So it's this he spends from blessings that are hidden, like knowledge, وَمِنَ الظَّاهِرَةِ جَهْرًا, and also from what's apparent, and he invests publicly, out. Yes, publicly, apparent. This idea, يُنْفِقُ مِنْهُ سَرًّا وَجَهْرًا, in secret and in public. And you see it. Yes. أو ينفق, or he spends من كل تيهما, from both of them. سرًا, in terms of secretly, كالذي يصل إلى الناس من غير تسببه, like that which is connected to man or achieved by man or man acquires without his reasoning. It comes to him without his reasoning. This is Sarran. It comes to him secretly. He has not done anything to earn it. It comes to him like revelation, inspiration. Inspiration comes fast. It's something that comes fast. When we looked it up, we looked this up in the class before. It's something that comes quick. It becomes so quick, you didn't have time. You didn't have time to think about it. You didn't have time to experiment. You didn't have time to observe it. It comes to you. So that there is no exerted effort on your part when you receive this kind of gift from Allah. Yes. That's the idea of it coming secretly. Li usulihi. So for its achievement, it wasn't you. And many of us know that things have come to us without our effort. We don't know who to give the credit to. We don't know. We don't want to give ourselves credit, but we can't give the kindergarten teacher credit. We can't give the elementary school credit. We can't give the middle school, the high school, the university, and all the teachers and professors what I have been given. I can't say it came from them directly. Yes, there have been an influence, but this I cannot say it came from this person, my parents even. I can't say I got this from my parents. At that time and moment, and we all experience it, we could say in vast degrees. In that time and moment, that's when we make the sacrifice. Yes. And if we want to add, we make a sacrifice. Because we don't know who we owe. But we know we owe someone. You know, when you make great achievements in the world, you know you owe someone. No one on earth can make achievements without them owing someone. You can't say, I don't owe nobody for this. Yes, you owe someone. If you don't know who you owe, you make a sacrifice and give to the needy. Because you owe. And we need to teach more about the sacrifice. I'm not going to harp on it here in this presentation. We need to teach more and understand more about the sacrifice. It's a ritual that we have built into the basic fundamental rituals of the religion, the sacrifice. When we ignore these rituals, perhaps not knowing the meaning of them, not knowing the body of knowledge that's held in the rituals, volumes and volumes that's held in it, we discard it and lose the body of knowledge in everything because of some perhaps selfish idea that we may have. So yes, so that comes. Visibly. This may come visibly. It comes to you in secret, but it's seen visibly. It's seen. وَهُوَ فِي الْحَقِيقَةِ مِنْهُ وَصْلٌ. This connection is in the al-haqiqa. We had this term last week. See, we keep teaching, and you'll find Ibn Arabi repeating concepts and ideas. You begin to understand what he's saying. As you continue to read over and over, you begin to understand al-haqiqa. So we talked about the haqiqa being the true reality. It's given in the true reality, but there's something that's visible to show that you have been gifted. But it wasn't based upon your own cause or your own reasoning. But it's visible. Yes. I'm not going to harp on examples. I'm giving you these ideas now. Then you'll find examples in your writing when you make the contrast. Now, let me make a point. Let me finish and then I can make the points. So this is al-haqiqa. لأنه حينئذ because he at that moment واسطة الوجود الإلهي, this point, because he at that moment is the medium of the divine essence. He's the medium of the divine essence. Now, this is an example of what I mean. You have to have tanzih. You say subhanallah. If you have any thought of making something equal to Allah. Before you can read this, because this language, is that he becomes the medium of al-wujud. Al-wujud is the existence. It's the existence, the being, the essence. Al-Ilahi, the divine essence, the divine being, attributed to Allah as being al-wujud. Now, Allah himself has, we could say, all the knowledge, everything belongs to Allah. Allah has this knowledge. If we see Allah as one and one alone, think of it, one and one alone, and he has all the knowledge, everything he brings into creation. But if Allah is alone and by himself, then how do we know? How can we say there's an Allah if it's just Allah himself? Let's go back. Zahiran. If you've been given a gift, and that's the language we speak, an inalienable right, a gift that you have a right to, and has been given to you. Zahiran means that it's apparent that you have this gift. The only way anyone can know that you have this gift is you have to produce something that will indicate that you have this gift. Otherwise, no one knows you have it but you. Because it has not become manifested. Zahir. It hasn't been manifested that you have this gift. You can have the gift to come up with this computer. These are gifted people. They've been given a gift to come up with the computer and all of its workings, let's say. But if you don't do anything, you have the knowledge, you have the wisdom, you have the logic that's been given to you without your effort, but you know you have it. But you do nothing, you produce nothing, you create nothing that would indicate, that would manifest that you have it. Then it would be as though you don't have it. So let's look at Allah. So if Allah is Ahad, and there is no Ahad like him, then out of his hasanan, going back to the verse, out of his love, out of his beauty, he creates. And in the creation, it manifested that he is Ahad. But he puts it in the creation. I hope you can follow. That he exists. Though he is not the creation. Yes, I hope you follow. But the creation is a manifestation of his existence, a manifestation of his wujud. Yes. So now, the person who's being gifted, he's being gifted at that moment, he becomes a medium. But he is not Allah in the person. That's what I want to get to. That's a misreading of the sign. That's a misunderstanding of scripture. That's a misunderstanding of this kind of philosophy. Is when the only concept that you have been given of the divine essence, the divine being, is that he manifests himself in the creation. I think they call it pantheism, a concept or idea of pantheism. No. He is not creation. So the medium, he creates. He brings this about at that moment. The person is this medium only in the sense that it's a manifestation that Allah can grant favors. But they are not Allah in the person. Allah doesn't need to jump into an aspect of creation, jump into a body to reveal himself as that body. No. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Very high philosophical ideas. وَوَكِيلُ حَضْرَاتِهِ, and the wakil, the representative of his presence. See, in the Quran, when you read, in the Quran, it speaks about Allah being hidden and Allah being present. We speak about being in the presence of Allah. Yes, but in the presence of Allah, it does not mean we're in the presence of Allah himself. That would hinder upon shirk. But by looking at creation, by observing, contemplating, and thinking, and being gifted by Allah, we can see how the creation is a manifestation that Allah does exist in his oneness, or in his one. Instead of oneness, one. If we want to be very refined in the talk. I hope you stand with me on this. So he becomes that representative in the creation itself. Yes. Hakika. This is the Hakika, El-Hakika. That's Sirran. Then you have Wajahran. كالذي So كالذي, that's like that which yatasabbabu, he thinks, he causes. See, there's a gift that you get without cause, without your cause. Then there are gifts that you receive that's due to your cause, due to your spending, and you're getting a return on your spending. Here, you spend sirran wa jahra. But this, you're receiving these benefits or whatever based upon your reasoning. If I do this, and I do this, and I do this, that's what happens. Yes, we have inventors, researchers. This happens every day. I'm not talking about things that doesn't happen. Both happens every day. We may not pay enough attention to it. And no, but you get both. Now, I'm not saying too much because this part that I'm giving you here, I want you to go and find the contrast. An idea that contrasts on this part specifically by Imam W.D. Muhammad. And then contrasting, you may find ideas that are similar, that's agreeable. You may find ideas that's not agreeable. Addressing the same thing. That will be the assignment for the students. I'm giving enough for you to do the assignment. This is the lecture. Now you will go do the assignment. This is how far we have advanced with Mali. Let me say this before we conclude. So we start out in Mali for those who listen to the recording, and you don't come into Mali quoting the Imam. A lot of people they couldn't understand that. They didn't like that. You can't come in, the Imam said. No, because we're building what we're doing, we're building a Quranic learning institution, Muslim American Logic Institute. You don't come into in any school, you don't come into the school and you can't read, and you start quoting scholars. If I give that to you day one, you can't do it. It'd be too harsh. It'd be too much. And you're only quoting one scholar. This is not a place you only quote one scholar. You have to look at others who have written on the same subject and contrast the idea, and then you will have something to say. But in the beginning, yes, I know where I'm going with this. I know where I'm going with Mali. I know what I'm doing starting 15 years ago. Yes, I know the objective I've had, not really knowing if I will get there or not with the students. Not knowing if we'll get to this point with the students. But you don't come in quoting. If I give you the assignment to go do, it'll be too much. Because first of all, you can't read. Now you're reading the Quran in Arabic. You're looking at these sources. You're getting ideas here. Now go as an assignment. Go and see what the Imam says on it. And it's not an easy assignment even then. So it's not a place just to come and just say things. The Imam said, brother, so you'll be quiet and nobody have nothing to say and everybody's brain to get frozen. You can't discuss anything because somebody said the Imam said. These are little games we play on each other. Games by games. Gang mentality. G-A-N-G mentality that plays games but can't read. You want to be the scholar but can't read. So that's what we've got to this point now. If we stay with it, after a while you'll be able to read people like Ibn Arabi. If you can read Ibn Arabi, you can go and look at other philosophical thinkers. And reading the Arabic helps you understand the Quran in Arabic. Because you see in Arabic defining Arabic. You see someone expressing themselves in Arabic from Arabic. It makes it clearer and clearer about the Arabic. When you English and you can't see the original language, you're looking at English, the words can mean a lot of different things. Your mind can go in many different directions. And you may not be on the right road. Yes. So now we can give lectures that I'm not just talking to someone, you're sitting back in your lazy boy chair, you oh man, that was heavy, that was deep. No, there's an assignment. Because you come to Mali to learn. So this is where we're at now. So now we're going to compare. We're going to make the contrast now. When I was saying this earlier, some people came in Mali and left. Okay, you came and left. Fine. Okay, we're going to exercise. Fine. Do what you got to do. But what I'm doing is what I'm doing, and perhaps it's a gift that I've been given, if you want to put it that way, something I have that I'm making public. But this is Mali. So this is where the students have gotten to. Okay. So now you're going to be held more responsible than you were in the past. Jahran, now we're talking publicly. Those things that you applied yourself. You did your homework. You studied. You've been contemplating for years. See, it may not, it doesn't come right away. It may come from years. And years you applied yourself, and in applying yourself, binafsihi. Zahiran, openly, li wusulihi. Then it may be granted to you and is seen openly. Your achievement. You have achieved it and It's open. It's in the public. We see you studying. We see you with the teachers. We see you've done your homework. All of this is in the public. And as a result of it, then Allah favors you. Yes. Too many of us want to sirran. We want to say we received it in secret, but haven't received anything. Sometimes we boast about something we have, but there's no manifestation in the public to say that you have it. Think about it. Okay. So, hal yastawuna is this person whom Allah has given rizqan hasanat, a beautiful, loving risk. In terms of what we're saying the risk is he the same, and he spends. He spends it whether he receives it in private, whether he receives the risk in private, whether he receives the risk publicly. He spends. Either way, he spends and invests, privately and publicly. He spends and invests in it, and their returns. Is he the same as the slave who can't measure anything? You give him something, and next week there's no manifestation that he ever had anything because he can't measure what he has. You can give someone millions of dollars, and show in the public that we have given him millions, 10 million, 20 million, 100 million. He signs a contract, $100, $200 million in 5 years. At the age of 25, by the time he's 35, there's no manifestation at all that he has received that gift. He applied himself and got it. That's the odd. He can produce a shadow. I thank you for your time. Assalamu alaikum.